gas station. On the cash sheet, state.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a new video. My name is JP and this is Wander to Get Lost. Alright, so this is a different type of video. We're not really going to be doing a Jeep or RV video right now. I'm actually wearing my Paramedic cap, so I'm just going to be showing you what I carry in the Jeep for my trauma bag and what we carry in the RV. So that way, if you're interested in making your own first aid trauma kit, I'll show you what I carry as a New York State paramedic and flight paramedic. Basically, just in case I roll up onto an accident, I can provide some immediate care until an ambulance arrives. So I don't carry a lot of crazy stuff, which you may think you need. You really don't. You just really need to carry some basic stuff, stop the bleeding, treat the patient quickly, and then wait for the ambulance to arrive. So as I stated before, I'm a New York State certified paramedic, and with that, we are allowed to carry BLS gear in our private cars in case we come upon an accident. So we don't carry a full set of ALS equipment. So New York State just says you can provide BLS, which is basic life support care, when you roll upon an accident, and you wait for an ambulance to provide definitive care and transport to the hospital. And some things that I do carry in my personal bag, I'm probably not going to be using on a public accident. A lot of stuff that I may carry also is if we are in the backwoods, it's me and my family, I'm going to use those items to provide some definitive care if the situation warrants, because we may be out there for over an hour, 2 hours waiting for a possible rescue, or we might have to drive out from a situation. If you're an RVer and you're boondocking on Bureau of Land Management land and you are far away from anything, you're going to probably want a real robust kit, so that way you can provide some more care to a family member or to a stranger as you wish, just until help arrives. Alright, so before I dive into all of the equipment that I carry, I just want to say nothing prepares you for providing first aid and helping a victim of trauma than taking a first aid course. So you can, depending where you live, and I will try to link down below some reputable courses. There's a lot of stuff like Stop the Bleed, basic first aid from the American, I think AHA does one. And you could even take an EMT course if you so wish, but they are kind of pricey if you're just doing it for yourself. So just because you bought all of this equipment doesn't mean you're going to know how to use it. So please take a course, and especially take a CPR course. That is one of the biggest things that you can do to help save a life. Is if somebody were to have a heart attack and go into cardiac arrest, immediate CPR will save lives, along with immediate defibrillation. All right, so let's get into some basic things like the bag, because a lot of things that I see out there, people are buying $300–400 backpacks that are completely empty. You don't need those, especially if you just want a basic kit for your Jeep, your car, or your RV. So this is the bag that I currently have in my Jeep, and then depending if we go in the RV, I just throw it into the RV. So this is actually my original EMT tech bag that I got now 11 years ago. And I'm actually kind of upset because I went to go pull it out of the Jeep and I gave it a tug on the side and the stitching actually ripped over here on the side. So I'm kind of upset about that. It probably is time for a new bag, but it is what it is. So it's still working for me. But these EMT bags you can find anywhere. I'll link to our Amazon store. They range from anywhere from 20 bucks and up. If you don't want to go with something like this and you really want a backpack, you can also go with like a little 511 backpack. The zipper open. The only problem is it doesn't really have any dividers in here. So what you can do is you can use Ziploc bags to organize, or you can get little pouches, like these little Molly pouches you can throw in here, and you can label them what's inside, so that way if you need something you can just pull it right out. So this is another option that you can go with. The 511 bags are a little pricey, but they are a decent backpack. This is a small one. I use this for work, really, just to carry around basic stuff. And yeah. The other option is going with like a more robust backpack. This is one that I got to demo, and I'll be doing a full demo video on this. But it comes with lots of pouches inside, so you can organize and store all your equipment. This one's pretty expensive. I think this one is close to like 200 bucks. All right, so buying an expensive bag that is really well made is great. But if you spend $300 or even $200 on a bag, you're probably losing anywhere from like $100 to $150 that you could be spending on supplies. That makes the biggest difference. So if you just need a basic kit, I would recommend going with a decent sized bag that can carry a good amount of stuff and that doesn't cost you a lot of money. It's really just going to be sitting in your car until you need it. If you're planning on using it to go on hikes and stuff, that's a different case. So you have to fit it to your situation. But I will link down below to some different items that I think would work in different situations. And if you have any questions about the different types of bags, just leave a comment down below and I will answer it as best I can. All right, so as I pointed out, this is my main bag that I carry in the Jeep and in the RV, but I also have this Pelican case that I keep under the seat, and this is my go-to quick emergency stop the bleed kit, and it's filled with a bunch of stuff that's going to help me stop any massive bleeding that I may come across in a situation of trauma. So it's a Pelican case that I can throw anywhere in the Jeep. As soon as I open it up, I have 2 sets of gloves that I keep in here. I have a pair of shears, which you need because you always want to expose and see where the bleeding is coming from. I have a North American Rescue cat tourniquet, so I will link to this also. These are about $30 each. Sometimes you can buy it, you can get these in a deal if you buy more than one. So another thing I would recommend is if you have a group of friends in a club or that you know that want to also make a first aid kit, you can buy items in bulk and then distribute it to each other, and that way you can save some money. So I carry that. So we have a flat trauma dressing right here to be able to apply pressure. So I have some gauze dressings here, and these are all North American Rescue products. I carry that. I carry a hemostatic gauze, so that way if it's a deep, massive bleed, I can pack the wound with this. I have another 4-inch trauma dressing, and then in here I also carry 2 chest seals, so in case of any penetrating trauma to the chest. So I will link all those down below, and this is my go-to kit. So if I come across an accident, I can just pull this out right from under the seat of the Jeep and treat initially, and then I can run around to the back of the Jeep or tell Jordana to go to the back of the Jeep and grab my main bag. All right, so before we go any further, this is basically just a detailed video of what I carry in my bags. I'm not going to go over too much information in how to use the equipment. I'm actually going to be doing some first aid videos to try and share my knowledge and teach you how to use some of these things just in a later video. So right now this is just a broad overview of what's being carried in the bag. All right, so let's get into my main bag. As I said, this is my original EMT bag, so I really like this bag. It's made by Iron Duck. So you can find these on Amazon or any EMS store online. It's got a nice big main compartment, which I really like. So when you flip it open, I do have some items stored up here at the top. I have my pen light. So I use that, you know, check pupillary reflex. I do have a set two decompression needles. I'm not going to use these probably on any accidents I roll up to, just because that's an ALS skill. here in New York, I would use these on family members if I needed to, and I would deal with that later. I do carry 2 markers in here. I carry a black one, and I have an orange one just as my backup because I can't find any other colors right now. But when you apply a tourniquet, you'll see there's a little notation here that says time and a nice white space here. You have to document the time that you applied the tourniquet, so you always keep a marker. That way you won't have any issues writing on here. All right. So when we open the bag, immediately on the top, I carry a yellow blanket, and this is basically helps retain body heat. You can put this under a person and then wrap them in it. It also contains body fluids, so just keep this here just as a, I doubt I would probably ever use it, but you know, if you're in the backcountry, if you wrap a person with this, and then I think I have an emergency blanket in one of my kits, put them into the emergency blanket with this, that'll keep them nice and warm, because the biggest mistake you can do to a trauma patient is let them get cold. It just starts a horrible cascade that leads to, you know, some bad outcomes. So we have that. I believe, yeah, I think these are like $9 each. Everything's going to be linked on Amazon. So I'm trying to read through some of I listed up some prices just because I can't remember everything. Yellow blanket, $8 to $10. There we go. All right, so there we got that. I'm going to try and stay semi-organized. So I have 2 stethoscopes. One is my adult stethoscope for doing blood pressures, listening to lung sounds. And I do have a pediatric. And the reason why I have a pediatric is because I have 2 kids, Aurelia, who is about to be 5 years old, and Odin, who is 2.5. So it just makes it easier to, you know, listen to them. So I check lung sounds on them, and if I have to take a blood pressure. So stethoscopes can vary anywhere from $5 to like $300. So if you don't do this for a living, don't spend a lot of money. You can get just a generic one if you want to, and it'll work perfectly fine. All right, so I have blood pressure cuffs. I have an adult size, and then I have a pediatric size. So I keep those in here. These are about $15 each for blood pressure cuffs. Yeah, so I do take blood pressures, and I, you know, on scene of an accident, I would definitely take a blood pressure. I've seen people use blood pressure cuffs as a tourniquet. I wouldn't recommend that, just because they do have a tendency to deflate, and if you set it as a tourniquet and it rapidly deflates, sometimes a clot can blow out and cause it to start bleeding again, so avoid that. All right, so let's see what's in this pouch. All right, so this is some ALS equipment that I keep in there. Just don't worry about that. I do carry a glucometer. It's a BLS skill here in New York State, so you can check a blood sugar if it rolled upon an accident, and you know, they might look altered. So carry that. So that is in there. I do carry a set of glasses just in case of any blood splatter. Protects your eyes, and especially now with COVID, they say protect your eyes, but yeah. All right, so let me show you the inside of the bag, and you can see how nicely organized this bag is, and this is really why I like it, because I have that main compartment organized, and then all around the outside I can store additional items. All right, so I have gloves, and I actually have to restock some more gloves. I used a bunch, so I keep gloves right here. I know some people might say to store your gloves on the outside, taped to the bag or something, because you may be fighting adrenaline to get your gloves on and find them. I don't have that issue. I've been doing that for a while. That might work for you, but I have no issue opening my bag and grabbing out a pair of gloves. All right, so let's see. All right, we'll go over what I have in this main kit for massive bleeding, and then we'll break out what else we have. So I carry 2 additional tourniquets in this main bag. We have 4 limbs. So I actually have four tourniquets in the car, 2 in this main bag, 1 in my quick kit, and then I have another one in a little pouch that I keep. So there's 4 tourniquets in the car. Alright, so some of the basic stuff. 4x4 gauze. This stuff is super cheap. You can get like 100 of these for, I think, $11, and then you can divvy them up between your friends. So I carry about 20 of these here in the bag. A little heavier duty pad is the Combine pad. It's a 5x9, so this soaks up a little bit more blood and it's better for a little bit bigger bleeds. So I carry that as well. And then I also carry quick clot gauze. So this is like the Celox gauze, and this helps stop arterial bleed. So that, along with a tourniquet, you should be set. I also carry cling wrap, so this is helpful when you apply a bandage and you just wrap it. So I carry some of these. You see, I carry more. I carry different sizes, a 3-inch up to a 6-inch. You can see here's a little smaller one. You can apply this to wrap somebody's head and, you know, put on an eye patch in case there's an eye injury. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with the cling wraps. Let's see. Carry 2 additional chest seals in this bag. So these are made by Rush. So these are pretty decent. They're not that expensive. I think they're like $5 each. The North American Rescue ones are much more expensive. I also carry a multi-trauma dressing. These are 12x30, so these are very big trauma bandaging. So I carry 2 of these for any massive injuries. I carry a burn sheet, and people will say, well, why do you carry a burn sheet? Well, if somebody is really badly burned, you're not going to want to put anything on them like blankets or anything like that. This is to protect their burned skin, and I would only use this in the backcountry or somewhere where I know ambulance is a long ways away. You know, you don't want to let a burn victim get cold, so if you have to wait a while, after you treat their burns, you wrap them in the burn sheet, and then you put the blankets on them to keep them warm, or put them into a rescue blanket. All right, what else do we have? All right, another important thing to carry is I carry tape, so you want to be able to tape your bandaging. Tape is also helpful if you want to write information, so you can just tape it down somewhere and then write some notes. So usually I'll do, I'll show you that on another video. I do carry I guess this is a bulb syringe for pediatrics. Use this for kids in case of any like mucus buildup or anything like that. I always carry this for Odin and Relia, and both of them are now old enough where I really don't need it for them, but in case I come across any pediatric stuff. So now for any kind of fractures or breaks, I carry some SAM splints. This is the 36-inch, and if anybody is not familiar with SAM splint, it's basically foam with moldable aluminum inside, so you can use this to splint different types of fractures. I carry the 36-inch one. I carry an 18-inch one, which is good for the kids. And then if you buy, depending on what you buy, they sometimes come with the self-adhesive wrapping, so I keep that in here as well. And I actually have a second 36-inch one. This one's unwrapped. Aurelia likes to play with it, and we practice all the time fixing fractures. So I carry that, and I can actually store these on the outside of the compartment of this bag because there's room around the outside, which is another reason why I like this bag. So there's other options you can use for treating broken bones. There's what's called a hard splint, which is a board with foam, and then it's wrapped in like a almost a plastic or vinyl. Those take up a lot of space. These SAM splints don't take up any space. I also do carry an adult C-collar, and I carry a pediatric C-collar. So if I roll across a car accident and they're complaining of neck injury, you can treat them. You know, a lot of things have changed over the years, but you don't want to get stuck in a car holding head stabilization, so you can apply a C-collar. So I'll carry those in here as well. Alright, so that's actually everything that's in my main bag. So let's go to side pouch. So here I carry a SAM pelvic binder. So this goes around the pelvis to help stabilize a pelvic fracture. And if somebody does have a pelvic fracture, especially like open book fractures, if somebody was involved in a rollover, especially if you're out on the trail with your Jeep, I don't know if anybody's seen some of those horrific rollover accidents on some of the trails, but if somebody is ejected or gets rolled over and their pelvis is unstable, this is really important because it can stop massive hemorrhaging in the pelvis. You can lose a lot of blood in your pelvis, so I do keep this on hand. This is expensive. I don't recommend it for everybody. I think these go for $80 each. So yeah, it's a lot of money. I'm sure Jordana would probably kill me if she knew how much I spent. But yeah, I just keep it for peace of mind. You never know. I also keep hot packs in here and cold packs. So you might be like, well, why hot packs? Well, if you get cold, you want to be able to warm somebody up. So you can put hot packs in the axillary areas and just do some warming. Cold pack, obviously, you want to apply to any injuries to help reduce swelling. Yeah, I actually used some cold packs already because Jordana had like an injury, so I gave her some of my cold packs. So I gotta get some more. All right. Oh, one thing I forgot in the main pack. I carry a bunch of triangle bandages, and these are super useful. And you know, you can make arm slings with these, and you can also use these for splinting and for fractures. So I carry 6 of these, and on another video I'll go over how to use them. Alright, in this side pouch I carry some, what these are called OPAs. These go in the mouth for cardiac or respiratory patient, just to keep their jaw open so you can ventilate them properly. So I keep a set of those. Keep a couple of vomit bags. This is called an NPA. This goes into your nose, and it's kind of the same thing. It helps give a clear passage for when ventilating a patient and getting oxygen towards the trachea. I also carry a pocket mask. So you might ask, well, why don't you carry a BVM? Well, if I'm by myself, I'm not going to be using a BVM. BVM is really a two-person skill unless you're really, really good at it, and even then, it's really hard to properly ventilate somebody. So I carry a pocket mask. This comes with the included filter, and that way I can give rescue breaths along with chest compressions. If anybody is aware, the new CPR guideline says compression only is fine, so you don't even need to carry this, but you can. Yeah, so most people would be like, well, you're breathing out carbon dioxide into a rescue mask. Well, we breathe in 21% oxygen. When you actually exhale, it's actually 18% oxygen. So they're pretty much almost getting, you know, a full oxygen complement from your exhalation. So yeah, so I will always give rescue breaths. And then, so I carry here a 250 bag of normal saline. I carry a big syringe, and then I carry somewhere around here I have a needle. And the reason why I do that is I can draw off some normal saline, and I can use it to irrigate wounds if we're in the backcountry and I need to do some wound cleaning. So I carry that as well. So that's pretty much what I have on this side. So, oh, one other thing. Sorry, I forgot here in the main pouch is that I carry salt water and sterile water. So I use the sterile water for flushing out eyes, just to clean out if any debris or anything gets into the eyes. And then I use salt water when cleaning wounds. So yeah, so I carry that. So those are good to have as well. And these are sterile. So once you break them, obviously they're no longer sterile. So, you know, just use it wisely. These aren't that expensive, and you can get a whole case that you can split with your friends to share. All right, so in addition to all that, I also carry a little, like a basic first aid kit, kind of like a backpack wilderness kit. Here is where I have my life blanket. So this is a aluminum blanket that radiates body heat. I carry some waterproof, windproof matches. I have some duct tape, some safety pins in here. I have a bunch of our regular little band-aids. I don't carry band-aids in my main bag. This is really for this is for heavy duty trauma and first aid. I have some antibiotic creams and stuff in here. I carry some other backcountry items like fire starter stuff. I have some over-the-counter meds in here like Tylenol, Motrin, and all that stuff. And then some new skin items for blisters and other little things. So I carry that as well. This is in the back of the Jeep on the side compartment. So just a little pouch. I think originally I bought this probably like 15 years ago. It was Adventure Medical Kits, the Weekender. And then I just took some stuff out, added some stuff to it, and kind of made it my own. So if, when I used to do a lot of backpacking and hiking, I would always just carry this little bag with a couple of other things just to complement. And, you know, I would modify it as per my trip. So, yeah. And I'll link to this also. These aren't that expensive. All right, one other thing I carry in the Jeep. I used to be a certified lifeguard as well, and if anybody who's been watching the channel knows, here in Long Island we do a lot of off-roading on the beaches and stuff. Actually I forgot to grab out of the Jeep before Jordana left, but I carry a rope bag. So this has got about 75 feet of rope in it. So you know, if somebody is out in the water, I can do a this is a throw bag, so I could throw a rope to them to try and pull them in. And then also I have the surfboards that we always bring to the beach, and then I do have a pair of fins in the back of the Jeep as well. But having a rope bag is kind of handy. You don't need it. I just carry it just because. Yeah, I'm just always prepared. I don't know. It's probably just the Boy Scout in me. All right, so this was a super long video, and I probably just showed you guys a lot of stuff, but this is actually what I carry in the Jeep and in the RV whenever we're traveling and whenever I'm driving around. So if you have any questions on some of the items, if you need it or you don't need it, you can always leave a comment down below and I'll let you know. The biggest thing I would tell you is that start off small. You can always add stuff later on. The biggest things that I would definitely carry is always have a tourniquet. You want to stop massive bleeding. That's the biggest thing that's going to cause death, especially in a massive trauma. So always carry a tourniquet. A quick clot and some gauze and some tape will get you through. Probably if you're in an urban setting, enough time for an ambulance to show up. So you don't have to go crazy. And if this looked a little bit overwhelming, that's just because I've been in EMS now for, I think, over 11 years. And yeah, so it's been a long time to accumulate equipment. So yeah, you don't need much, you just need the right things, and the right things will actually help you, and it'll probably give you some peace of mind, especially if you're off the grid, whether in the backcountry with your Jeep or your off-road vehicle, or if you're boondocking in your RV. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it was so long. I hopefully you watched the whole video and you got some information and some takeaways from it. Please stay tuned. I'll be rolling out a first aid series where I'll be just trying to share some of my knowledge in how to use some of this equipment. And as I said before, this equipment will not take the place of proper training. So please, please look up a course. Take a course, get familiar with all the equipment, and please take a CPR course. You know, you could save somebody's life. Thank you again for watching. Thank you to all our new subscribers who have been tuning in. This video is going to hopefully start a rollout of a whole bunch of videos that we got coming on the way. And if you haven't already noticed, yeah, we'll be going full-time soon. So yeah, it's about to get crazy. So yeah, stick around, and hope you'll enjoy the ride with us. All right, I'll see you on the next video.